bringing you something present. I'm sure you've heard of Red.
Yeah.
Unim Red.
Unim Red.
And the abuse of drugs in some communities, and that is being done by the youth of these days. But let's take you to a community called Bubuashie, Cable and Wireless. I'm sure you may have heard of that area before. The residents there are complaining that the youth are engaged in the usage or drug abuse, and that has resulted in theft, insecurity in the area, among other things. Yeah. Emmanuel Opom, my colleague in the city newsroom, visited this area, filed a report. Let's bring you that report after we have a conversation here.
For many, Bubuashie is more than just a neighborhood. It's a place of memories, community, and belonging. But for those living near Cable and Wireless, that sense of security is fading. What was once a relatively calm area is now being marred by rising incidents of drug abuse, theft, and youth unrest.
This neighborhood in front of me is known for a whole lot of activities, the good and the bad. But for me, I think this neighborhood has done or is doing a lot of harm than good, because the youth are all into drugs. They cannot work. So I am pleading with anybody in charge, specifically the MP for this constituency, Okankwe South, Honorable Ernest Adomakon, to see to the situation and then take corrective actions as soon as possible.
Residents say the impact is being felt across the community. Many women now avoid early morning trips to the market, fearing potential attacks. They point to high youth unemployment and lack of opportunity as contributing factors, but say the unchecked spread of drugs and lawlessness in Cable and Wireless is accelerating the decline.
We say yakwan so ebo level yakwana eya na haye hu kakra be ye 1 month ni brasto ye nim na security ni bi ofre adwuma eba na nipa mi no mo pese mo gye ni moto na like on so ye ne se no okutatuo e na ma otimi atwitwa gye no ho mienu so kra aha na omogye okogye wo park yi so miensa so kwan so ge bi twam na boys mienu muti moto so na omoye so mo hwim ge ne phone nti ge no dwane ewura afie bi mu ama obi epie ye o nipa ne pie no wanto omo na omo abeduru ha na nipa ne sa call.
A walk through the enclave reveals a chaotic and unsanitary environment, with squatters crowding the space and daily life unfolding without much concern. While some young people dismiss claims of criminal behavior, they did acknowledge being involved in other disturbing activities.
The smoke there is compulsory. Here we smoke, but we are not actually ruffians or stealing things. But if you talk about the smoke there, we are all smokers.
Despite the troubling report, there is some hope. Aminu Ahmed, a member of the Dakuma Neighborhood Watch community, says community-led efforts are underway to address the issue and restore safety.
Even yawo omo da kuma hano no mo say omo shewi omo shetramo ni sanyama no enti ewo mo a no mo attacking nkofo information ni ba am yeti da kuma ni ba wodu no esuti ye be clear cable no mu nyina enti all of them omo dwane kwhye agbogoloshi enti ma da kuma hu da ho ba ye clear agbogoloshi pam wo mu nyina afi won e no mu nyina dwane esan ba da kuma je se mo manya sa information a well yes, yedieni betu ahwe ejuma ebia na enyema ye ni ama na ehu agugu kakra nti ye beka ye hu.
So that is the concern raised by residents from Bubuashie, Cable and Wires. You can join us via text 0204447033, and you can share with us your thought on this story And also, if you stay in that area, let's know your concerns on this issue, because it's a very pressing issue. We know that not long ago, the National Security Ministry came out with something, say, see something, say something.
Yeah.
So what see something, say something affords a resident the opportunity to get in touch with the security agencies when you come across somebody ordinarily you don't know in a community, or you think that every attitude of the person is sort of suspicious, and you'd want to report to the police, and the police can also take action, deal with the issue, and try and get the issue on course. But with this particular situation coming from cable and wireless is very present, and the fact that they said it's attached to a drug abuse. You don't know what the unim red after taking unim red. You don't know what is going to come out of it.
The campaign on the red was launched. I was hoping to see more proactiveness in, I mean, solving this whole drug abuse issue. But I mean, this is where we are now, and this happens to be in the heart of Accra.
Of course,
somewhere in the heart of Accra.
It's just behind Kaneshi. So if you don't know Bubuashie, behind Kaneshi, the Accra Academy, the senior high school, behind this Bubuashie area or Dakuma Road, you would get to Bubuashie. I'm told we have somebody on the line. We have
David Abalo, who is the Sub-Metro Chairman, Okankwe South Assembly Member. Hello, David. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you on the show. Thank you so much for making time to join us.
Thank you.
Right. I'm sure, or I'm pretty sure this issue has come to your attention. Has it?
No, that not my attention.
Oh, okay. So then I suppose you're seeing the report for the first time right here on Breakfast Daily or Channel One Television.
Yes, my first
Okay,
time.
and if I may ask, what do you have to say about it? Because, I mean, you've seen the report and how pressing or how disturbing it is from the engagements with some of the constituents. What do you have to say about that?
Unfortunately, this is something that's happening, let me say, across the Sub-Metro. It's not only cable and wireless. When you go to Azeno, you go to Sector Neoplan, these things are always there. But as a chairman, I have not witnessed any. As I said, the first time I'm saying on your screen, I've not seen myself, not witnessed. If I'm a witness to, then I can speak to it.
But David, do you live in the community?
Come again?
Do you live in the community?
Yes, I live in the community. I'm at a place called Tuna House, close to Article Station, and it's not far from the cable and wireless. But the unfortunate thing is, because I'm not in there, there are so many activities that I'm unable to speak to.
Okay, but with your jurisdiction, you cover that area, right?
Yes.
Good.
No. Yes, when it comes to, I made you known that I'm the assemblyman for Bubu Electoral area, as well as the Sub-Metro Chairman for Kankwe South. Yes.
Good.
As a Sub-Metro Chairman, the whole area is under
it's under you.
Assemblyman for Bubu Electoral.
Okay, so I'm very sure that you know the cable and wireless area very well.
I know the area
Good.
very well.
Which people stay there? Is it a slum? Is it a community that is for business, a commercial area, or what exactly is within this community, if you can share with us?
Actually, the said area was given to the then PNC, Post and Telecommunications at the time. But unfortunately, the purpose for giving the land was not achieved. And people started to encroach upon the land. And today, as we speak, there are a whole lot of people from different parts of the country that are there. In recent times, people who were cleared from Old Fadama, they are all here. So though these people are there, we try hard so that we can make sure that those things do not happen. Like, it's becoming difficult spirit-wise with us, but we are still working as a Sub-Metro. But there are so many illegal activities taking place there in the keep them going.
So it's a space that is not legal for, or the individuals, they are sort of squatters. What has been the Assembly's move to eject or get these people out of the place? And two, what is the security situation there like? Is there police officers always stationed there, or are the police aware that individuals who are there are not supposed to be in that area?
The Sub-Metro made so many efforts to get those people out of the place due to the illegal activities that are taking place there. But we're having a lot of challenges.
Share with us some of the challenges.
The place is not, it's for the Assyrian people, yes, for the Assyrian people. And it was given to government, Assyrian Bubuashie. And they gave the place to government, the PNF, I said earlier, but because the government was not able to embark on the activity in which the place was given, the Assyrian people are claiming their property. Recently, I heard it was given to a businessman who wants to build supermarket or something. By the Assyrian people. That's what I heard. But so nothing is going on, and the illegal things are still ongoing. But the Sub-Metro is still making the effort to get rid of some of the people. It's not all those who are there who are doing the illegal. There are few people are doing those things. So we're praying that very soon we are going to get the chief executive for AMA, which I am under, and we'll sit and see how we can get rid of those people.
All right, David, initially when I asked you, you said you were not aware about the situation, but now you are mentioning some illegal activities going on there. Do you mind sharing with us what some of those illegal activities are?
Unfortunately, I resumed procedures about 3 months now. That's why I said so.
But I suppose you are pretty much aware because you've just mentioned that there are some illegal activities going on in the area. So would like to know if you can help us understand or appreciate the issues much better.
Yeah, that's what I heard from my one of my senior members at the time. So now that you have brought this to my attention, I'll make sure I do my findings, and then I'll come back again for us to discuss it.
Okay, again, you heard from your senior member. I'm sure you might have asked him questions on which particular illegal activities going on. Or do I assume that when he told you illegal activities, you didn't probe further and you just left it as such? Hello, David, are you there?
Yeah, I'm having a feedback. I can't hear you very well.
All right, so you mentioned that you got information from your senior colleague that there were some illegal activities taking place in the area. Am I right?
Yes.
Right. So I am asking that when he told you that, did you probe further to understand what kind of illegal activities going on in the area? And as you've assumed office, how you can come in to help curb the situation? Or did you just leave it as that?
He only mentioned it, and we did not discuss vividly. So that's what I said, that I'll make sure I get the findings, then I can get back to you for a thorough discussion on that.
But I also want to find out from you, in your speech or when you were having the conversation, you made mention of challenges. What are some of the challenges you are facing to relocate these individuals?
You know, the place is a very vast area and the population is very huge. It's like a community on its own. And as a Sub-Metro, we don't have the powers to relocate or allocate people for those who will be moved from the community. So, as I said, I mentioned that we are expecting a chief executive, and we're going to take this and see where to get to.
But since it's under your jurisdiction as the Sub-Metro, what are some of the measures you think can be implemented to get these people out of the place, or intensify security in the area for the residents to be safe?
Let me repeat this. I made you know that the senior police mentioned to me the activities that are going on there, but did not get the vivid information. He only mentioned it when I resumed the office. So I'm waiting for my chief executive, who in about I hope before next week the name will be mentioned, and then we'll sit down and plan very well for the area.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, sir. David Abalo is Okay. Abalo is the sub-metro chairman and for Okankwe South in the assembly member for Bubuashie electoral area. Thank you so much for your time. From what David is saying, it's obvious he's aware of it, but he really doesn't want to go into details what the issue is, because since he's in the area, putting your face out there like that can be in a way dangerous, because you don't know who is going to come after you've shared the details and what the government has to do and what decision is going to be taken to ensure that these individuals are taken out of the place.
But Philip, if you ask me, I think, or I feel like, I mean, if you are somebody going for a position of power, you are going there not to please the people. You are going there with a tough heart. You are going there to be a strong person.
It's not easy like that.
I know, I understand. But before you even make up your mind to be a leader, for people to follow you, to lead people, you need to have some sort of I don't care mentality, because at the end of the day, you are looking at making right decisions, helping the area as a whole. Initially, when you start, believe you me, everybody will be against you. They'll call you all sorts of names. You're wicked, you're not a good person, and all of that. But look, as human beings as we are, we like good things. Do you think if an area is sparkling clean and all of that, people will not applaud him for that? They will. But if the same people are, for example, dumping refuse in the same area, and he comes to sort of reprimand them, they'll say, oh, you are not a good person. This is where we need to do all of that. So as somebody who is in a leadership position, you should be ready for all of it.
David he's trying to be very nice about the issue.
He should be ready for all
when the former Greater Accra regional minister and that is Henry Quartey was trying to relocate the onion sellers from Bubuashie to Ajenkutoku or to Gomwa area, it wasn't easy. It's difficult. And from what he stated, this place was given to a telecommunication area, cable and wireless. Eventually, that place was left bare, and these individuals have taken over. So you would expect some sort of activities that will go on there that are sort of like social vices. And if these activities are going on there, the police is in the known, but going there to get them out of the place is a big problem. So it needs collective.
We have a problem.
It needs collective effort. So you have to get, say, the police in the area. You have to get the assembly involved. The AMA boss is certainly going to be the chairman of MUSEC, that is the Metropolitan Security Committee or Council. And you're also going to get the bigger body inside, that is going to National Security or the Ministry of the Interior, among other things. You're going to get local government ministry inside, and you're going to see how you're going to relocate these individuals from one place to the other. So if the Greater Accra Regional Minister is watching, maybe some action can be taken, because what the people are saying is they are not safe in the area, and they wouldn't come out openly to come and say it, but they sent text. If you're also in that area, you can send a text and let us have it so that we can have conversation on it. You can join us on our text line, that is 0204447033. A message that came through ahead of we discussing this issue, the very day this thing was aired, was that I hope this message finds you well. My family and I relocated to Bubuashie when I was very small. I grew up in Bubuashie, and there I had my basic school education. Growing up, I made some friends, but there's a place called cable and wireless inside Bubuashie, which my opinion has influenced most of the childhood friends, turning them from very good, innocent people to very bad people. Thanks to cable and wireless, a lot of activities had been going on there, talking about the sale of alcohol, weed, and other hard unprescribed drugs, and some of the activities that goes on there, the sale and the use of these weeds and those hard drugs have influenced the youth there, and they are now turning into pickpockets, thieves, and some of the girls are into prostitution, so on and so forth. And he is calling on the MP for the area, Ernest Adumako, who is the MP for Okankwe South constituency, the president, and also key authorities to come in and address this issue. So if David Abalo is hearing of this for the first time, and the AMA comes on, or the Greater Accra Regional Minister also can lead the charge to ensure that some sort of safety
and sanity is restored in the area, because if I'm going to live in such an area and I don't have anything to do with any of these social vices and my security will not be guaranteed, then I mean it's a problem.
It's a very big
Sometimes
problem.
We need to be ruthless in some measures we take as people in positions or leaders, because you can't massage everyone's ego. You can't please everyone as someone who is an authority. But most times, because of political interest and all of that, somebody may be thinking that if I do this, they won't vote for my party. If I do this in the next election, my party may lose, or I will not be
because those
considered
people in
as
the
a
area
candidate.
may not vote for me.
Exactly. I may not be considered as a candidate, but Ghana is for all of us. We need to make a conscious effort to help do the right things.
But that's not the only place we're having an issue. And the issue of drug abuse is almost in most places. The residents of Sabozongo have initiated a move to ensure that drug use that is illegally used among the youth in the area is brought to a halt. Let's bring you this report filed by Emmanuel Anyama, and later we will speak to the authorities that be.
A surge in drug abuse among children and young people in Sabozongo has raised alarm across the community. Taking matters into their own hands, the youth, backed by local authorities and the chief imam, have led a major effort to clean up the area. Their initiative resulted in the closure of more than 20 shops and the confiscation of large quantities of banned substances, including weed, codeine, and tramadol. Mohammed Hashir, deputy spokesperson for the No Drugs in Zongo movement, spoke to ChannelOne News, making it clear that this is only the beginning.
Drugs abuse is getting out of hand in the community. That's why today we rise ourselves. Even though we did not get this enforcement, real enforcement about like a police or soldiers, we did not get it. But as long as we can do it in our community, we can do it by ourselves. So we try to do what we can, and next time we will come back with the reinforcement like police or soldiers. Anybody who make any rough, we will fold him and give it to the authority from the police station straight to the court.
Residents who spoke to ChannelOne News described the drug problem as dire and commended the youth for stepping up when it mattered the most.
I support our brothers, what they are doing, because looking at things, some of the little brothers are not in school today because of this, we and other staffs. We see them, at least you cry, because a little boy like 12 years, 11 years can smoke a weed without even thinking of school. So at least we support what they do.
Among those calling for change was 11-year-old Hadara. With innocence in her voice and determination in her words, she pleaded for a drug-free future. Her message, a poignant reminder of what's at stake for the next generation.
Them to be drinking drugs is no good at all. Some are spoiling people's children because of it. Now, children, small children they are drinking drug abuse. It's no good.
That is the move initiated by residents of Sabozongo to end the use of illegal drugs.
Philip,
in
let me take a moment to clap for them.
You think they've done very,
yes,
very well?
They've done so well by taking the bull by
Yeah.
the horn.
Yeah.
This is the way to go, because we can't sit watching just like that while we lose our youth to drugs. So I must say that, look, this is a great move by the whole community or the people who even took the charge to take the lead to initiate this great
It tells you they've been very much worried about this. And if the youth, because you're selling drugs, or you're selling 225, you're selling tramadol, and even with a tramadol, there's something in there called tapentadol, and it's not even good for your health, and it's going to affect you psychologically, it's going to affect you health-wise, and you wouldn't be able to go to school. And if they found out that in the area, if they do not stop this immediately, they'll end up using that workforce, that is the youth. And this is the initiative they have taken to end it. It's even going to end crime in the area, because if you do not engage in the use of illegal drugs, you are not forced to commit crime, and you want money to go and buy the drug again. So I think the residents of Sabo Zongo, they've done so well. And I'm sure they had the support of the Food and Drugs Authority as well to push this agenda. But we will go down to the ground, you go to the community and speak to some individuals within the community and find out from them what really pushed them to do this thing. Maybe it's been long coming. But we have the deputy spokesperson for No Drugs in Sabo Zongo Movement, or Zongo Movement, Mohammed Bashir or Hashiru. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Is your name Bashiru or Hashiru?
Hashiru. Mine is H. It's not B.
Okay, that's fine. What led or what forced you to embark on this agenda?
Wow. Thank you and good morning for your listeners this morning. The team that shake us and we start this, how can I say, sanitation against those who are selling drugs and those who are taking the drugs. The team is getting out of hand. You can see a 17 years, 16 years teenage are taking those drugs in this community. Everywhere, every corner. And I can tell you, every house you find these boys, 1 or 2 or 3, who are taking these drugs in that house. So the way the thing is going on, we say, no, we call the police. If they come and arrest some, then they will leave them. We don't understand what is going on. So the chief himself called the meeting order because the thing is getting out of hand. We should help ourselves. Then from that day, we start meeting and we start doing that parade.
Mohammed, let me ask you, how difficult or how easy was it? Because we understand from the reports that you closed a couple of shops. How difficult or how easy was it? And how were you even able to identify the shops?
The shops?
Yes.
We were born in the area, that is one. And we are very familiar with the area. So all of those who are selling, I can tell you that we know about 80 or 90% of them before we take them. We knew them. And the advice I would give to the government, the immigration on the border distance, all of the borders, especially the Francophone borders, they should check those, our own Hausa men from Niger and what's called like Mali and so on, those who are enter here. They should watch the date that they are bringing. I think you know date. And the things, wachi or whatever they are bringing, the beans that they are bringing, they should check it. Because they are putting it inside.
Wow.
It's not the thing that they are passing it through airport. No. They are taking it through border. Not from airport. It's from border.
Now,
so we know them. It's not that we don't know them. We knew them. The police are not helping the community. If they fight them, then that's all. That is why we ourselves making that this citizen arrest, because we are getting tired.
Okay.
As I'm speaking to you, my own sister's son is doing. Some of us that we saw as that day, some of us, their own son, their own children are doing this. Madam, it's not easy. Okay.
Now, Hashiru, let me ask you, so what happened to the shop owners you arrested or whose shops you closed? What happened to them? Have they been handed over to the police or what actions has been taken against them?
There are some shops, it's a kiosk. They are selling these soft drinks, especially the energy drinks like Run, like Storm, 5-Star and so on. But they have that thing aside, you understand? They hide it. They are selling. You see that it's a drink, but they are selling it. So we knew because most of the thing they are mixing it with the energy. So those kiosks, some of it, we bring it down. We let them take their drinks inside and bring the kiosk down.
Wow.
And some of it are container. We lock it.
Okay.
And we take the drugs from them.
Yeah. So I was asking, what happened to the shop owners? What happened to them?
Yesterday, some of them we locked them. Yeah, that's what police is.
Oh,
wow.
right.
So, Mohammed, how is this affecting the youth in the area, say education and also security in Sabo Zongo?
Master, that is one of the problems. There are some boys who finish SS, which is a senior high school graduate. There are some who finish even university. You don't know how come, and they enter this drug, how can I say drug? Two people said, serious. And there are some those who their parents guide them and God help them, they are okay. But some of them, there is a girl that she is the one at Essence. She is the one writing notes for her, some of the teachers, because she's very good in writing. As I'm speaking to you, that girl has 10 something else.
Wow.
It's not easy.
And safety in the area, how is it like? As a result of the illegal use of drugs, were some of the youth into robbery activities or abusing individuals in the area?
You see, as for the robbery, we ourselves, you know that we are not soft. So if you rob, we get you. You know us already. Whether we know your mother, you know father, you know what's happened to you. We are not we are not all that soft. You know, Muslim community.
Wow.
We deal with you according to Islam law.
Wow.
So as for the robbery, it's not too much like this. Because it's not easy for you to see somebody has snatched somebody's phone in Sabonzongo. No, for that one. Because if you snatch somebody's phone, whether the person is Zongolese or he comes from somewhere, we will not let you go free. We'll catch you.
Wow.
So for those things, they cannot do it here.
The issue with the drugs that some of the youth are abusing, especially in Sabo Zongo. Which drugs are this? We know Red, we know 225. Are there others that maybe isn't the public domain that you want to make it public, that FDA can pick up, or the health ministry can pick up, or the authorities can know that this drug is in the system and they can get it out of the space?
3 days ago and yesterday, we saw those drugs you have mentioned, especially that Red. 3 days ago that I saw it live. I just seen it on TV or so on. But to see it physical, I saw it 3 days ago. Yes, and some of different ones that we burn it. We burn it. You can see it on the video. Your cameraman was there. We burn it. And not. I saw it different, more than 10.
But what do you?
Some of them I never seen before.
What do you think may have accounted to the youth abusing drugs? Is it that there isn't job in the area, or some sort of checking up on or taken care by the parents, that is parental guidance and other things, it's not really active in the space, in the community? That is why the youth are into drugs? Or what has accounted to the usage of illegal drugs?
You see, if you said maybe there is no work, that's why. You see, we all, everywhere in Ghana here, we are under one government.
Okay.
So the problem that we are facing in Kumasi is almost the same with the president here. You yourself can find, as I'm speaking to you, I'm always creating my own business. I'm a poultry farmer and I'm a driver at the same time. You understand? As for Ghana, try to do something by yourself, or to get somebody and go and find a way. Some of them are just lazy. It's not that there is no. I can tell you that there is one of our brothers. He's called him Alaji Mori. He's at Swan Lake here, but everything is here. His family, everything is here. He has a rubber company. Those who are respecting themselves, they are working with him. Those who are getting lower pay is 4,000 from his company. He's selling this takeaway, rubber, the park, and the soda. He's a big supplier. Like, if you ask any company here, they know him. The companies know him, that like Bell Park, whatever, they know him. I like him. He's at one week here. A lot of boys, those who are from here, more than 100, they are working there.
Now, Mohammed,
if you come from this community, so what prevents some of them to go and find a way?
Mohammed, let me ask you about education. What is the state of education in Sabon Zongo? Say, are the young ones there in school, or what's the general state of education? And in general, for those who are in school, how has this drug abuse affected their education in general?
Yeah, those who are in school and they want to educate themselves, they are in school. And those who want to take the thing, that's why I tell you earlier on that there are some of them who even finish the SS. Before you realize they start taking those things. There are some who finish even university, which is specialty. They have taken it. And there are some they don't do it. Some of them are joining the politics, like some of them are even consulting chairman, some of them are doing things, and they are doing something for themselves. You understand?
Mohammed, did you get the support of government officials, say the FDA, the police, when you did this action?
The police, we went to them.
Okay.
Because we are under Kolebu and Maprobi.
Okay.
We went there for them to give us a car. They even tell us that the Kolebu, they tell us that the car tire is not good. That's what they told us. So yesterday, those who we arrested them, the divisional commander of Dansoma, she is the one who helped us and give us the car, and they come and pick them to Dansoma police. You understand?
And what of FDA? Have you gotten the support from FDA? Because since you are arresting people and you are taking drugs and all that, hasn't FDA come into this to help you yet?
We did not get help from them. That now we are preparing to go to them in narcotics and see what support we can get from them.
Now, David, Mohammed, before we let you go, you've arrested a couple of people, other shops have been closed. But moving on, or looking at the bigger picture, what measures are you taking or putting in place so that some of these people do not resurface into your communities?
Now we went to register the group. You understand? We have started the process. We want to make it like a militia. Because there are some Niger guys who are selling some coffee into a wheelbarrow truck. I think maybe if you see them before. We noticed that some of them have the drugs inside. So we want to make it like a community security. You understand? If you see, we will check you. If you get it, then we yourself will arrest you to the police street. Because we want to sanitize the list in the area.
Very good.
If we do not do it by ourselves, nobody can do it for us.
Right,
because I will see that the police, they cannot help us. Because I can tell you that some of the police are coming here to smoke.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
They cannot argue. Even one of my sisters saw one of them collecting the some of this drug that they soak into the drink and give it to him. And some of them are very close with the suppliers, coming collecting their bribes and so on. So for what we can see from people, they cannot help us.
Wow.
What we need from them, just back up to witness what we are doing. That's all.
Mohammed,
them to come and arrest. If they arrest the person today, tomorrow they will release them. So these ones we are taking them to court.
All right.
If you go and spend like 5 months, you advance yourself.
All right, Mohammed, thank you so much for speaking with us. And
we
wish you the very best, and then we pray that you continue this vigilante weekend, also apprehending or arresting the people that are involved to have some sanity in the area, because we need the youth to grow the future.
Maybe not only Sabo Zongo, take it to other areas
Most
as well.
definitely. I think this should be a cue or some sort of motivation for other vicinities or areas that are seeing drug abuse.
As for the 225, there's destroying.
No, it's crazy.
It's having a lot of effect on the youth in this day. Anyway,
we still love to connect with you on this conversation and others. So join us via our WhatsApp number on the screen, 020-444-7033. You can also log on to our YouTube channel as we are streaming live at ChannelOne TV, and then leave a comment in the comment section down below. Alternatively, go on X and then send us a message there using the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and we'd love to read your messages. We'll take a quick breather this one, but this conversation is not over. When we come back from the break, we'll be speaking to Dr. Anigezi, who is an addictive behavior specialist, to find more insights or to get more understanding on this issue. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
This year, take the first step towards a deeper connection with God and one another. Join us for the Family Consecration Service, a powerful journey of faith, love, and renewal. In 2025, we are called to consecrate our homes, our hearts, and our lives.
The Lord is protecting you with His favor this morning. In the name of Jesus, may the Lord favor your going out. May the Lord favor your coming in.
To dedicate ourselves and our families to the path of faith, grace, and unity. Through prayer and reflection and a shared devotion, the Family Consecration Service 2025 brings families closer together, strengthens bonds, and invites God's presence into every corner of our homes. It's on Thursday, 1st of May 2025 from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. The venue is the Oil Dome, Royal House Chapel International, Accra. There will be renewal of vows for married couples.
On this occasion, I'm asking you to forgive me for all the hits and pain I've caused you.
Join countless families around the world as we come together to consecrate our lives in the spirit of love and faith. A consecration for today and for generations to come. Make this year a new beginning. Family Consecration Service 2025 for the love of God and the love of family. Join us this year. Together, let's consecrate our families and our hearts.
Welcome back from that break. You're still live on Breakfast Daily right here on ChannelOne Television. And before we went on the break, I mentioned that we'll be speaking to an addictive behavior specialist who has, of course, she's very well vested when it comes to psychology. She's in the person of Dr. Anigezi. She has joined us via Zoom. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Philip. How are you both today?
We are well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Right. From your expertise or from what you do so far, talk to us. Which of these substance abuses have come to your attention? When I mean, what are some of the drugs that have come to your attention that the youth are abusing? Because we've seen the popular red, we've had issues of people sniffing on glue and other substances. Are there some that are not in the public domain that you would love to shed light on?
Deepa, thank you so much for mentioning this, and thank you for this topic this morning, because obviously, as you said, this is my specialty, and it's an eye-opener for me today, because I mean, this is the reason why I've relocated back to Ghana, and to actually support and work hard towards this. I know about the cannabis. Obviously, street drugs have different names in various communities, and that. I have to be honest, I'm not familiar with red, so I don't know which one is called red. So you have to talk to me about that. So I know that there are loads, and it's affecting loads of people, affecting the community. I'm just going to highlight, the video or the programs that I saw this morning. It's really heartbreaking, and to see those little children coming out to say this. So I think that this, they've dealt with it from the criminal justice point of view, community and all of that. I think it's about time that one thing that wasn't mentioned was about preventative treatment and creating awareness of the effects of drugs on the people using and also on the community and the nation as a whole. Because obviously if you're arresting or moving, reallocating people, then definitely you're not doing, there's going to be another pollution in another area as well. So it's important that we look at the other side of it. That's, what I'm talking about, my field. How do we do the preventative? How do we do the awareness? Because some of these people are moving on and they don't know, because drugs go with criminality. That's a fact. I've worked in the community. I've been in this field about 30 years. Drugs go with criminality, goes with mental health, affects community, affects children, affects families, and affects also the governance of a community. So if that is not tackled and all we're doing is moving people on, I know that, the leaders are doing their bit. I'm not here to condemn anybody. Everybody has got their remit. I think I'm speaking as an expert in the field of addiction, that if we don't do the awareness, like going to these schools, talking to these young people, even before they are groomed into using drugs, then obviously they are growing and people are teaching them or grooming them to start using the drugs. So we have a lot of work to do, but we also have to start with creating awareness. Whatever the drugs are, whether class A, class B, class C, whatever it is, these days people sniff, like you're saying, glue, balloons, sprays, whatever that they can lay their hands on that has got some sort of effects in it, addictive effects in it, or effect that something that affects their mood, whether it's a stimulant or depressant, whatever it is, that they feel that they can get some effect on their mood. So we have to look at it on a broader, but I want to talk about it more about what can we do, not just about looking at the law, but also in terms of treatment, preventative and recovery, and also how, as a parent, what should you look out for from your children, the schools. If a child is behaving in a certain way, what does it mean? I love this thing that says, say no to drugs. This is an awareness. That means that something is going on, we are aware. But what can we do to actually prevent this or to stop this or reduce? And also, something I don't hear in Ghana most often is harm reduction. How can we reduce the harm?
Okay, Doc, you made mention of classes. If you can share these classes with us. And at what stage will one get addicted to a particular drug? Is it that after using it once, twice? At what stage is someone going to get addicted to a drug?
That is very interesting, you should say, because that's what we call individual differences. Someone can take it once and that's it, and also that can affect their mental health, where we have people can even go into psychosis, where we call drug-induced psychosis. Somebody can also take it several times. Our DNAs are different. Our makeup, our genetic composition, also some people are predisposed to, that's where we go into biology, genetics and all that, that maybe, let's say, in general health, or should I say physical health, medical health. Maybe my grandparents suffered from high blood pressure, so I'm predisposed to also having high blood pressure. It's so with drugs as well. So let's say if mom was drinking heavily or grandparents, it could be that along the line, the generation, somebody or some people will drink if they start drinking. And then somebody can drink several times, but their tolerance level will be very high, either because of their genetics or because of who they are as a person. So it differs and it varies, and it's always good to say, just stay out of it. Avoid using it so that it doesn't become a problem. So it's very important for us to just be mindful of the fact that Kwesi Mensah there, drinks a bottle of whiskey or gin and they're okay, doesn't mean I can do the same. Because they can do that, and maybe they will stand, they would walk, they will go to work and function okay. But all you have to do is have a glass of wine or beer or whatever, and you won't function properly. And I know some people who on their first attempt of using cannabis, or what they say weed, had psychosis, full-blown mental health, and never recovered. Even with treatment and everything, they had to go back and forth with their treatment. And there are others too who would have it for some time and say, oh, I use it as a pain relief, I use it to sleep, I use it for all sorts, which is not true. But I'm not going to go into that unless you want us to talk about that. So everybody is different. And when I talk about the classes, I'm talking about things like we have cocaine, we have crack, we have heroin, those are the class A's. Then we have some of these over-the-counter, you know, the tramadol or the cannabis and all that, the class A's and class B's and class C's. I'm trying to familiarize myself with the common drugs in Ghana, so please forgive me. I'm very familiar with the ones in the UK, but not the ones in Ghana. So I don't want to say something that's not the norm in Ghana. But I would say that the hardcore drugs, we have to be mindful. Even the ones, especially the fact that we're seeing 10-year-olds pleading and saying, please, do something about our community. And I think this cry for help is not just about those areas that you actually show. And I am so happy today to be talking about this, because I would have to highlight again that that's the reason why I packed my bags and I said I'm coming back to my motherland, because we need to do something about, I think drug addiction sometimes is pushed to the back, and we don't talk about it, because even over-the-counter medications people abuse a lot, and we take for granted. Somebody would just say, oh, I've got a stomach ache, or I've got a headache, or I'm in pain, and they would just take. And that's addiction as well, because the more you take, the more you develop tolerance towards it. And you have to take more and more and more. And sleep medications also. So this is a big thing. It is a huge thing. But I think education should come first.
Right, Doc, let's speak about some of the psychological or social triggers that push the young ones to drug abuse or drug addiction. Because when we spoke to Mohammed, who was from Sabon Zogo, and we asked him, he couldn't even place a finger on one or two reasons why the youth go into abusing drugs. He only said, or he only mentioned that some people are university graduates, others are out of senior high school, and others are also still in school, but they are abusing drugs. And he didn't even mention the issue of parental neglect whatsoever. So if you'd be able to throw some light on that for us, we'd be very grateful.
Yeah, I think one of the things is deprivation and people not being aware of the environment and what is actually going on. Neglect, children, you know, parents not having time for children, children roaming the streets. I think I mentioned poverty. If people don't have money, if people don't have clothing, if people don't have shelter, you know, it's easy for them to be groomed by the older ones. It's easy because people can just offer anything and just say, oh, I'll give you this for that. Or they can even give them drugs to sell. So it's about what is actually going on in the community. What activities do they have? Are they going to school? Do they have enough food? Do they have enough, the basic things that young people have? Also, some of them have finished their education and they don't have any work. They don't have any employment. So what is going on for them? You know, I think there's the old saying about the idle hands. If I'm not doing anything, what is there to do? And it starts with recreational, by people saying, oh, try this, or let me try this. You know what, if you try this, you're going to feel so calm. Yeah, cannabinoids have got that effect of that calm feeling, or taking you to a different zone where you feel different. And somebody would say, you forget all of that problem or that pain or that health issue if you use it. And once you use it once, anytime you have a problem, you just fall back to it. It's a bit like having something a mechanism that you use, like a coping mechanism. So the drug becomes your coping mechanism. And just like with alcohol as well, it's just like when I drink, I can sleep. And sometimes when I hear these things, I'm thinking, I just laugh and I say, no, it's not the alcohol making you sleep, because that's not the job of alcohol. Maybe initially you fall asleep, but you have broken sleep and you have other effects with it. So yes, it causes depression, it causes anxiety with both drugs and alcohol, because with addiction, alcohol is also a drug. So it causes depression, it causes anxiety, it causes isolation, it causes loneliness, affects your confidence. Let's not forget the social effects as well. Finances, as we see, people are stealing, and I mean, if you're a parent and you have a child who starts using drugs, you're in trouble. If you're not careful, everything in the house they're going to sell. And they sell it for peanuts as well, because what they want is just the money to go and get the next fix. Because when people are on drugs, addicted to drugs, what tends to happen is that they need to use it all the time. That's what people don't understand. That's why I talked about the harm reduction. It's easy for me to say, let's say if I'm an alcoholic, or I'm using drugs, it's easy for you, Jifa or Philip, to say, you know what, Annie, stop using. It's easy for you to say, stop drinking. But you could go into a shock or a seizure and then die. If I'm drinking heavily or I'm using drugs. But I talked about harm reduction because it should be a gradual process. So let's say I drink, I'm just giving an example. I drink a bottle of whiskey a day. What I need to do is reduce it to maybe 2/3 or half, and then dilute it, and then have a plan on how to reduce it so that my body gets used to the reduction and gradually you come off. So that's the meaning of reducing harm. In the Western world where I train and where I work so much, sometimes we even give them medication, and it's done here. We call it detox. We detox the drugs or the alcohol out of the person's system safely. We use, sometimes we use medications like diazepam, which we call Valium, Acamprosate, so many different, so we do it in a safe environment. Sometimes we can even do it in your home. If you have support at home, we can come to your home and administer that and work with you gradually until you come off the drugs. So these communities need this education. Parents need this education. The schools need that. If a child is exhibiting A, B, C, these are signs of this is what is going on in the community. And children need to be educated about being content. The fact that Kwesi Mensah has got a trainers, Nike trainers or Skechers doesn't mean you have to have it. You need to work hard so that you can also, in future become somebody that you'll be able to afford your own things. So we need to be able to get into our young ones and also the older ones as well. I like the fact that now we've got community leaders, community champions going out and educating. But I think now what we need to do, and like you said, if there's any government officials, well, I'm happy to work with them, that we educate these leaders who are doing all this work, because they need to understand what they're doing. Because I think they are tackling it from the criminal point of view about we need to clean our streets, which is brilliant, getting rid. But what we're doing is moving them to another place to start another issue, a big issue where maybe other youth, other children there are going to be affected as well. But that's not what I want to see. And I'm sure that's not what we all want to see. What we want to see is say no to drugs and also like preventative activities and then recovery. We need to be able to educate people about how do I recover from this? How do we clean this up? And I keep loving this banner saying, say no to drugs, that a young person is holding. We need to educate our young people.
Doc, you've spoken extensively about education. But what of enforcement of the law or arresting of an individual who is into drugs and all that? That's help to break someone free of addiction?
Definitely it does, because when you confine people, okay, so I'll go back to my previous work again. I used to manage about 10 prisons in London. And what we used to do, London in the UK, what we used to do is, if somebody is in that state and they are arrested, it's good for them, because you are putting them in a safe space to treat them. And that was where my services came in. So we put them by them being in that space, safe space, it gives time to actually clean the streets, and also the person doing it, for people like myself, to actually go into treatment, therapy with them. So yes, the law works, because my field has been for years, I've been about working with the criminal justice, working in prisons, working in community with the probation services, with the police force. So what they do is, when they pick them up, or like you rightly said, if they are arrested, because some of them you can't just treat them straight away, because some of them are not even aware that they have a problem. Where they are in their mental states and everything, they're not even aware that actually this is a big problem. I have a problem, and that problem is affecting other people. So in addiction, we've got something called the cycle of change. There are some people who are at the first stage who don't even know that they have a problem. So some people have to make them aware. And that is where the law enforcement, like you said, come in to say, actually, do you know what? You have a problem. And the problem is not just about you. Your problem is affecting the community. It's affecting our young ones. So you know what? We're going to put you away. give you that space to clean up. And if you don't clean up, we're not bringing you out. But whilst you're away, we're going to give you this education, we're going to give you this addiction treatment, and also we're going to go into the community and clean the people that you have affected. So yes, definitely, we work hand in hand. It's not a one-person job. It's not just the law, and it's not just for us that provide the recovery and the treatment, but we all have to work as a team to be able to make that happen.
Right, Doc, you mentioned that you're back to Ghana for good to help fight this cause. What's the rollout plan for you? Do you have any collaborations with any private institutions or even governments as a whole? And what's the plan for you? Because, I mean, we appreciate people like you who've taken it upon themselves to come back to help curb some of these menaces in the society. So talk to us about it.
So I've started gradually working with a few people, but it's great to actually see a program like this on mainstream TV. To actually say that if anybody is listening in the government and that, because I would like to work with the prison service to look at prison reforms and how we can provide treatment, addiction treatment and recovery and treatment services within the community as well. So I've started gradually, but I'm one person. And having platforms like this, I love it, because you don't know who is listening, who is watching. But it would be great if I can work with the government and various institutions and bodies to be able to, because this is what I've always done. And I believe that there's so much that we can do to make this work and to make the community safe and to make our young people feel that I can be home, or parents feel that I can leave my door open and my children are safe, or when my children are going out to school. And also not to clog up our prisons, to look at what are they doing when they, because we call something the working prison, and I think Ghana prisons, some of them are that. And I don't know whether we have the categories like we have in the UK, where we have category A with people with murderers and life sentence, and remand prisons, cat B, and we have category C, and that is the working prison. So what are you here for? So the day one that you come in, that you go through everything, your processes, you start working. You start working for the government, you start working for the community, and that's what we used to do. So we create this. They have farms, they go and then they plow the farms, they do all sorts. You teach them, you know, some to the extent that even we had prisons with DHL services in there. So they do all sorts. They peel protectors, they do whatever. And I believe that we can, there's a great job being done in Ghana prisons already. But I am happy to actually come in, and some of the services that we did in the prisons in the UK where, you know, I was managing, we can actually enforce that, and that would work. Because when people, a prison is a rehabilitation place. Yes, they are there to be punished. But then if we don't rehabilitate them, what are we doing? They're going to come back to the community again, and the very things that we don't want them to do, but they're going to do them, and even worse, because when they go to prison, they learn other things as well, learn behavior. And a hardcore criminal is going to train that one-time prisoner to come out and do worse than they were doing before. So why don't we put systems in place in the prison and in the community, and then work with them so that they learn something? So nobody can come out and say, well, I don't have a job, that's why I did ABC. Well, when you were in prison, you learn how to make tables, you learn how to weld, you learn how to fix cars. So come out and do that job. So so to answer your question, yes, I'm happy and open to the government, to work closely with the government, to work with the ministers, to work with anybody, to be able, and then the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Prison, Police, whatever, to make it happen.
Right. We are sure they are watching, and then they reach out to you for some sort of collaboration to help curb this menace. But thank you so much for your time. We appreciate that you spend some time to talk to us extensively about this. We are grateful.
Doc, thank you so much for your time. Dr. Anigezi is addictive behavior specialist with psychology background. And from what she said, even our prisons need to reform.
Yes.
And looking at the state of our prisons in this country, I don't really know whether they are able to reform the individuals as it is. Maybe you go in there, you come hard, you come back harder. And there should be a way to get around all that. I'm sure the Minister of the Interior
I agree. To some extent, there's some sort of reform, because quite recently we saw in the news some prison officers graduating from University of Cape Coast and all of that. And aside from that, there are other program rollouts where people learn other handicrafts like carpentry, bead making, farming and whatnot. So I think it's a good place for a reform. But just to mention or just to add that Dr. Annie's approach is a good one, to go into the prisons, to even psych their minds even before they finish serving their time, to know that, look, getting out is a great opportunity, but you going back to do what brought you in, it shouldn't be the case. So I love that, and I hope that she gets the support.
And with this initiative she has brought on board, I think it's going to help, because normally getting addicted to these drugs, like I asked there, you can take it just once and you get addicted to it twice or 3 times, and you may not know how to cope with it. For all you know, someone wants to break free that addiction, but it's very difficult as to how the person is going to get off of that particular addiction. So it tells you that a lot needs to go into it. What Mohammed Hashiru and his people are doing, good job. And what is also happening in Bubuashie, cable and wireless should also be checked. But we, the citizens, cannot do it alone. We need the support of the government. Like Dr. Anigezi also stated, the health ministry must come in, the prison service must come in. We should have the likes of even the gender ministry, because we have children also in there. And what Hashiru stated,
the Ghana Education
ladies
Service.
are going in there. Yes, the Ghana Education, the Ministry of Education, and local assembly, like the local government ministry should come. It's a multifaceted ministry approach, so that we should be able to get it done and done well. We shouldn't sit there and be looking at unim red issue and just be making fun of it. But it's a big problem that must be dealt with. I think we have some messages.
Yes. Philip, this one says, good morning, Channel One. The cable and wireless area, with all the issues arising, is not something to sleep on. That place has been flooded with all kinds of people from different places, some non-Ghanaians, doing all sorts of mannerless activities, which even the Dakuman police cannot control. Talk of drug abuse. We've lost so many young ones, some dead due to overdose, unnecessary fights, some caught stealing, some currently in Nsawam prisons. For those who are mad roaming on the streets are countless. Even those who go about their normal activities during the day, most of them have adopted the use of hard drugs. Talk of weed toffee and cookies, etc. He goes on to say that small boys as young as 13 and 14 years patronizing prostitutes. It's not in the hands of the nearby police to control, let alone an assemblyman who is not even around the area, probably sleeps at 8 p.m. There used to be a community task force who chases these boys out due to their criminal acts. People may not really understand or feel how deep the situation is within these towns till you've lived and experienced it. Interesting.
This message is interesting. Coming
very interesting. And
cookies.
Yes.
That means there are ways to get the drug into the system.
Oh yes, not just by sniffing or taking it.
And the authorities may just have to know all the ways that they are pushing the drugs into the system.
Well, we appreciate your messages.
He spoke about beans.
Yes, he did.
Yes, I was shocked
he meant to say that, you know, when they are transporting the grains from the northern side or wherever they get them from, they stuff the drugs in there. So it doesn't even go through our borders. So maybe at the police checkpoint, they are trying to inspect what you are carrying in your truck or your cargo, and you tell them that it's beans. They check couple of sacks and they validate or they authenticate that, or indeed it is beans or rice that you are sending down south for some businesswoman to buy, but in there's
a drug.
Yeah.
A message coming here, Mole from Nungwa, says that Philip and Jifa have a different variety, or there are different variety of drugs, and it's abused. I saw when I lived there for 2 years, and was more than I have ever seen in my life put together. You need intervention as soon as possible. I'm sure this text is talking about the Sabo Zongo issue. And it tells, like I stated, what we know out here, maybe 225 or the tramadol or
the glue sniffing.
There's something more that the youth are using. You know, they use energy drink, they can put the drug inside.
Yeah.
That's serious. and you see someone standing and the person is sleeping.
It's sad. It's really sad. When I see some of the videos on social media, it's very heartbreaking because you see a young, energetic, fine-looking gentleman, and we are losing them to drugs. Funny thing is,
I saw one sleeping actually in a soup. His face was inside the soup. The food he was eating. So it tells you how bad it is. But these things start in our communities. Unlike Muhammad Hashiru and who have started, the government agencies to also wade into it so we can get it resolved.
Right, we take a quick breather at this point. When we come back, we are going to enjoy more music and more conversations right here on Breakfast Daily. Do stay with us, don't go anywhere, but remember to still connect with us via our WhatsApp numbers. If you have any messages to share with us on these conversations we've had here in the studio, you can do so. The number is 020-444-7033. Alternatively, send us a message on our socials, go into our DM and then drop a message there, or you can tweet at us at ChannelOne TV using the hashtag Breakfast Daily. We'll be right back. Do stay.